Okay, we're up. Ready when you guys are.
All right, everybody, I'll now call the Planning Committee meeting of Barrie City Council to order. Welcome. We have all 11 members of council and our executive management team and city clerk, of course, participating remotely due to the COVID-19 physical distancing measures in the order in council. We are continuing to practice that distancing. Just myself and the clerk are here in the chambers, but our executive management team are all on the Zoom call tonight, available to answer questions, although they're not visible at the moment. We will hold our planning committee meeting tonight and our general committee meeting immediately afterwards, in accordance with our typical procedure, which means we will start with the consent agenda in both meetings. So tonight on planning committee's agenda, we did originally have two staff reports. One has been deferred to the next meeting, and that is DEV 00920. That's concerning an application for a zoning bylaw amendment for 658 and 662 Mapleview Drive East. So we have just one item on planning committee's agenda, and then of course we'll proceed to general committee after this. But can I ask if any member of planning committee wishes to hold the one staff report on tonight's agenda? That is an application for a zoning bylaw amendment for 440 ESSA Developments Inc. That's at 440 ESSA Road. Okay, no holds on that item. It is approved on consent. And for those watching at home, general committee or planning committee of Barrie City Council has given tentative approval to this development in accordance with the staff recommendation, which was printed on the agenda. This is for a 7-story residential building at 440 ESSA, including commercial uses on the ground floor. So that will proceed to Barrie City Council next week for potential final approval. It means we do not have any other items to be discussed in the planning committee meeting tonight. Inquiries will be done during the general committee meeting. And so in record time, we are able to adjourn our planning committee meeting since the one item went on consent. So we will adjourn planning committee at this point and immediately move to general committee of City Council. So I'll call the general committee meeting of Barrie City Council to order, just as with planning committee. This is being conducted virtually in accordance with the amended regulations under the current emergency orders. We will run through the consent agenda for this agenda as well. We do have a number of staff reports and 2 items for discussion on tonight's general committee agenda. I'll read out the title associated with each of the recommended motions from the staff reports and the items for discussion. Please indicate by raising your hand and saying hold if you would. If you wish to hold any of the items on the consent agenda. If the item is not held, it will go forward to City Council at our meeting next week for final consideration. Okay, staff reports on the consent agenda. The first staff report is with regards to the COVID-19 Barrie Business Recovery Plan. This is the framework and consultation process for building our recovery plan. Okay, seeing no holds. That is approved on consent. And I'll speak to that a little bit later under announcements, just because I know there's been quite a bit of interest about this in the community. The next item on the consent agenda is the City of Barrie's Cultural Grants Program, the 2020 program review, and the COVID-19 impact measures. No holds on that. It is approved on consent. Next item is a confidential acquisition of property matter regarding waterfront property acquisition strategy.
Hold, please.
Held by Councillor Ripa, thank you. The next item on the consent agenda is a school safety review for Pickett Crescent in Ward 8.
Hold, please.
Held by Councillor Jim Harris, Ward Councillor. The next item is an investigation into a parking prohibition in the vicinity of 125 Huronia Road in Ward 8. No holds on that one. It is approved on consent. The next item is with regards to a parking investigation into White Oaks Road. That's in Ward 8 as well. No holds on that. It is approved. Our next staff report on the agenda is an investigation to improve traffic operations at the intersection of Bayview Drive and Baldwin Lane. That one's also in Ward 8. No holds on that. It is approved on consent. And for those interested in that, the recommended motion is to maintain the stop sign, but also to implement an acceleration lane for the right turn channelization of the eastbound right from Baldwin to southbound on Bayview. And that is to improve the traffic operations and safety on that intersection, which is halfway up the hill there. So that's an expanded lane coming out of the turn onto Bayview on off of Baldwin. The last item on the consent agenda is the 2019-2020 Ontario Gas Tax Funding Agreement. No holds on that. That is approved. We have two items for discussion on tonight's agenda. The first one is with regards to the provision of free compost to community gardens on private property. Okay, no holds on that item. It's approved on consent, and that's to look at a program for 2021. The next item is with regards to pedestrian crosswalks at Rodney Street and Blake. That's in Ward 1. Okay, no holds on that. That is approved on consent. Okay, cycling back, we do have one item for the public session that was held, and then we will do the inquiries and announcements portion before dealing with the private or the confidential item. The public item that was held is a school safety review for Pickett Crescent in Ward 8. Councillor Jim Harris, you held the item.
Sorry for that delay, a little drama. Thank you, Mayor Lehman. I held the item for the purpose really of recognizing this particular effort. It was it's called On the Move, and it was an effort that was initiated by the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit in partnership with the Simcoe Muskoka District School Board and the City of Barrie, and also with students, teachers, staff, and parents at schools. And I had the pleasure of attending Willow Landing and doing the walk around the neighborhood. And it was really great to be able to get a sense of some of the barriers and some things we could do to help make walking to school safer. And that was the initiative of the goal of the On the Move project, was to do an assessment with all parties in neighborhoods to see what could be done to improve walking. And I really want to take a moment, if it's fine, to be able to recognize staff who participated that day. And both Justin McDonald and Mark Kavakis participated from the city and did the walk with parents and teachers and students. And it was really great to see that collaboration. And I just wanted to not let this pass by without noting the positive outcome with this contribution of everybody working together to find a way to make it safer for folks to walk to school. And so hopefully, there's so many wins with walking to school versus being driven to school where it's possible and safe. And so I just want to take that moment to shine a spotlight on all the folks who contributed this effort. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Thanks very much, Councillor Harris. Yeah, the expanded work that's been done in the partnership with the school boards to look at walk to school and safety measures, certainly something that is relevant citywide with more than 40 elementary schools in the city, and everybody interested in making it easier and safer for kids to walk and reduce the number of parents who feel they need to drive their kids. So, much appreciated there. I assume the motion's on the floor is printed.
And having said all that, yes, thank you very much.
Good enough. Any further comments on this item? It's on the floor as printed. Okay, sorry, Councillor Morales. Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Mary Lehman. Just a quick one. I guess that the safest way to get to school, I guess most people don't really realize now, is still walking, cycling, and kind of getting to school not in cars. So kind of use this a bit as a PSA and piggyback off Councillor Harris's option that, cycle. Make sure that post-COVID, you kind of keep those healthy habits of cycling, walking, letting your kids walk if they're age appropriate. That will not only improve congestion around the school area, but will actually increase safety. So they go hand in hand.
Thanks for that, Councillor Morales, and we'll all hope that the kids get a chance to walk to school again before the summer. Any other comments on the item? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. Those in favor of the item as printed? Any opposed? None. That carries. Okay, the only other item is a confidential item, which we will deal with after the end of the public agenda here. It brings us to inquiries. Are there any inquiries of staff? Deputy Mayor Ward? No, shaking his head. Any other inquiries of staff for members of General Committee? No inquiries? Okay. Announcements. Any announcements, Deputy Mayor Ward? On just the Ontario announcement. Okay. No announcements from Deputy Mayor Ward. Any other announcements, members of General Committee? Councillor Jim Harris, go ahead.
Hi, Mayor Lehman. I will defer to you, but people probably wonder why there's a bit of green in the picture tonight, but I think you were going to talk about Children's Mental Health Week, so thank you very much. So I just
actually, why don't you go ahead, Councillor Harris? You were the one who very kindly reminded us all of the opportunity today to recognize Mental Health Week. So go ahead.
Thank you very much. So this is a very important week for mental health. It's both Children's Mental Health Awareness Week and Mental Health Awareness Week, and one of the initiatives that's been popular the last couple of years is to shine green. Shine green to show your support for mental health awareness, Children's Mental Health of Ontario. And so that's my fabulous green tie and my green jacket are in support of Mental Health Awareness Week and Children's Mental Health. And thank you to all the councillors who are wearing green. And I know that our city clerk, Miss Wendy Cook, is actually also not on camera tonight. She's wearing green. So thank you, Miss Cook. And I know, and I appreciate all my colleagues on council supporting mental health. But I can see you all wearing green. So thank you so much. And we all know, given the COVID-19, the importance of mental health has been highlighted, and we know it's been highlighted many times over the years about Let's Talk and lots of initiatives. And even looking back, I received a wonderful notice on my Facebook, which is one of the nice things about Facebook. You get these wonderful reminders of things in the past. And it was a reminder of Mental Health Awareness Week, Children's Health Awareness Week 3 years ago, and it had Zach Hofer and at the time, Advocate Supreme Natalie Harris, now Council Natalie Harris at City Hall, and there with Mayor Lehman supporting Zach Makes Tracks. So this community has done some incredible things in support of children's mental health. And obviously the beds at RVH were a huge gain for our community, being the only LHIN without children's beds in the whole province of Ontario, which is an incredible oversight. And thankfully we now have beds locally. So to everybody, mental health is part of your overall health. It's health from head to toe. So thank you for supporting mental health and children's health in Barrie and our community. And thank you for listening. So thank you, Mayor Lehman.
Thanks, Councillor Harris, and particularly important right now. There's just no question about the stresses that the pandemic restrictions and distancing have put on everybody, and to the organizations in our community that are continuing to help by helplines and by virtual supports and continuing to deliver their programming as best possible under the circumstances. We owe them all a debt of thanks, and showing our appreciation with a little bit of green is the least we can do, for sure. So thanks for reminding us of that, Councillor Harris. Any other announcements, members of General Committee? Okay, seeing none, I do have a few. I wanted to just jump back to note an item that was passed on consent tonight, which is the Recovery Action Plan framework and consultation, because there has been quite a bit of interest, and pleased to see that already many in Barrie's business community have reached out to the city, saying that they have suggestions or ideas around local initiatives. The framework that Council has given tentative approval to tonight includes a critical path in Appendix A which speaks to putting a plan together in the course of just 1 month. And the lead on this, as you might imagine, is our Director of Business Development from Invest Barrie, Stephanie Schlichter. And her team will be working with industry associations and stakeholders in 6 sectors in the Barrie economy. I did want to make note that this recession or situation, I mean, we're still in very early days, but certainly the economic damage is obvious and well known. It is quite different than previous economic recessions. The sectors that are impacted this time are quite different. And that means the recovery and stimulus initiatives are going to have to be broader and different. It is a time that calls out for creativity, but most of all, us to listen to our business community. And so I'm very pleased that this was put together and given tentative approval by General Committee tonight. It would see the team here at the city reaching out to people across the community, the business community by sector, to say what are the local initiatives and or city-related policies or procedures or programs that might help. But also what can we advocate for with our friends at the province who have asked for our input, and organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, who already locally have been doing work on this for several weeks. The idea here is that the consultation will occur in a very compressed period of time, the next few weeks. It will include open consultation with the public. So for those out there who are interested in contributing to thoughts around recovery planning for our local economy, there will be a dedicated email link, and we will be promoting that as an opportunity for anybody to give us thoughts. But of course, we do want to target those business sectors that have been particularly hard hit and solicit their input. So that was given tentative approval tonight by a general committee, and there will certainly be lots more on this in our future cycles of council. Councillors ourselves, the 11 of us, will be playing a part in this, given a questionnaire that we can use to reach out to people in our own wards and in the broader business community to get the benefit of their advice and suggestions as well. Then this will all come back after our staff and some members of the local business community have had a chance to formulate some proposals. That will come back to general committee for discussion in about a month's time. So hopefully coinciding well with the gradual process of reopening the economy. A couple of other notes. The City of Barrie has launched Community Heroes, an online campaign to showcase our appreciation for the many acts of kindness that members of the community have experienced or undertaken during this unprecedented time. You can submit your stories, your nominations, share pictures at barrie.ca/heroes, or use the hashtag BarrieHeroes on social media. In a related note, we are joining communities around the country in recognizing Emergency Preparedness Week this week. Of course, you know, the work that was done before COVID ever landed locally included pandemic planning that has been led by the health unit in the past, and the work that all of our emergency services and city staff do to prepare for various emergencies. While nobody could have been prepared for the unique realities of each unique situation, especially a pandemic such as COVID-19, that work has helped be prepared for where we are today. And of course, whether it's tornadoes, ice storms, floods, or pandemics, we always need to be prepared for the potential. So there is more on our website at barrie.ca/emergency management. This is really cool. So our rec department, who last week, launched the Seniors Without Walls initiative, online programming, conference call, using phone technology, programming for our seniors, basically a community center through a conference call for social, educational, other programming. Now they've expanded that to kids programming. It is called Together at Home. This one is a digital hub. It provides a variety of recreational activities and resources to keep residents and their families active and entertained at home, while of course maintaining distancing. There will be new activities shared weekly that to get residents moving, spark creativity, hopefully help brighten your day and give those kids who might be getting bored now and again something to do. So this is at buildingbarrie.ca/together at home. I don't know if you've had a chance to check this out at all, but it includes paper airplanes, backyard bingo, and the backyard bingo is particularly awesome. These are activities that you can do with your kids, and there will be new content uploaded on a regular basis. Now a sad note, and probably one that everybody saw coming. The Canada Day outdoor celebrations are going to have to be canceled in their traditional form. We can't have the large gatherings, and unfortunately with the timing of those events, we have had to pull the plug on the planned events around Canada Day for this year. We've seen this in other cities, and unfortunately we have to make the same decision now because it's only 7 weeks away. And we are being told that large gatherings are unlikely to be possible in that form by that day. Alternative celebrations are being planned. There are online celebrations being planned by Canadian Heritage across the country. Of course, we received notification last week that the Snowbirds are doing a tour across the country in the coming weeks. So hopefully this will provide some alternative, but of course very disappointing, but unfortunately necessary under the circumstances. I did mention the Senior Centers Without Walls program that is underway, and you can get more information about that by calling 739-4223 or email at recreation.information@barrie.ca. That is all free, of course, programming. We do have the online sales for rain barrels. For those who are interested in a rain barrel for their home, you can buy them online. They'll be delivered to your driveway. I did want to mention there is a memo on our additions tonight, which includes some updates on the programs that we are offering here at the city by way of relief measures. We are trying to assist residents with additional garbage requirements. We have had over 5,000 requests for the additional bag tags, and they are being mailed out. But a reminder that 1 garbage bag with a bag tag per week of pickup. Please 3 bags in total, and that's what allows our garbage collectors, even with the changes required to that service under COVID, for them to be able to get around the city. So please, if you can, just a 3-bag limit, and you're welcome to use those extra tags if you have received them. The bylaw is still in effect. The emergency measures bylaw is still in effect. And I really do want to thank residents, because the number of calls regarding distancing in public places has gone down. Even with the nice weather this weekend, almost across the city, we saw people complying with this, being respectful and doing their part. In a few cases, we did see violations, and unfortunately, in a few cases, people who wouldn't comply when asked to, and that's where the ticketing can come in. But I do want to thank the residents of Barrie again on behalf of council for continuing to observe distancing. Going outside for a walk is a good thing. Making sure that you distance while you do it. With the closure, I should mention as well, we did have a number of emails about this. With the closure of the dog off-leash areas, please do not let your dogs off their leash in other areas of the city. And please don't remove any of that caution tape or signage from play equipment at the parks. These are closed to ensure public safety. And last, just a note, we have seen a great increase in the number of sort of creative attempts to raise donations and support for various worthy organizations and events in our community. But we do encourage you to contact the bylaw office if you're planning something, just to touch base with regards to the safety measures you may need to put into effect to ensure distancing. The phone number for that, 739-4241. And the email is enforcement.services@barrie.ca. So they are staffed to give you guidance as to how to conduct your event safely if that's possible under the current emergency orders from the province. Okay, members of the General Committee, on our public agenda, that brings us to the circulation lists. Do any of you, any members of the General Committee, have comments regarding the circulation list from April 27th? Okay, seeing none. Tonight's May 4th. Any comments on tonight's circulation list? Okay, seeing none. I will need a motion to move in camera to discuss the confidential acquisition of property matter, waterfront property acquisition strategy. Moved by Councillor Kungle. I'll call the question. All those in favor of moving in camera, please indicate. Are any opposed? None. That carries. And we will now move into private session. Thank you to all those who watched tonight on the live stream. And we'll just pause for a minute to disable the live stream and allow us to go in camera. We'll see the public, see all of you out there next week for Barrie City Council at this time.